So, as I mentioned earlier in the promo, my special guest today is Wesley Doyle, and he's with a company called Buzz Financial in St. George, Utah. Wes, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm just doing excellent. I'm so glad to have you on the show today. You have got some amazing things going on with your business and the way that you market your Buzz Financial Company, and we do want to talk about
Mhm.
that. But also, I want you to give us some insight into your the Hive Business Network that you've set up. So, Wesley, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got going, and take it away. Let's see what we can do here.
Thanks so much for having me on the show, man.
You're welcome.
Um, I spent almost 10 years in food service, and I was blessed by God to be moved into a different industry. We're in the payment industry. It's a little bit more lucrative than I ever thought before I realized it was there. Every business out there, yours, mine, everything in the US is taking payments, credit cards, debit cards. It's an industry that's not going away. It's becoming more virtual. It's becoming more apparent as business owners are trying to grow and scale and build their businesses. But I got into the industry about 3 years ago when I was in California. In October of 2024, I was blessed to be able to move out here to St. George, Utah, build out the Buzz Financial office from scratch. And take an influx of clients who either want to save on their processing, they want to adjust their websites or their programs to be able to work more seamlessly. That way, they're not doing all these extra steps. We also dabble in website development, as well as integrations for whatever software as a company needs to use from A to Z of their business process.
Oh,
The Hive Network started about 4 months ago. It was me, a plant scientist, a loan originator officer, and a real estate agent who decided that paid networks were kind of a thing of the past, and we wanted to make something that was simple, no strings attached. It was free. Information should be free. The motto that we have in place is seek to bless, not to impress. And we recently, just this Monday, as you were present for, we just hit our 100 business mark. So now we're in triple digits for our businesses inside the Hive network.
wow. See, that's what's impressing me, guys, is that I joined Wes's Hive Network like 2, 3 weeks ago, and I was impressed with number one, how many people have already joined, and the whole model behind it, I think, was just incredible. But before we jump into that, I do want to ask you some personal questions. Where were
Of
you
course.
in California?
I was in Southern California, like Orange County area. So right where the beaches are, about 45 minutes inland.
So tell me more about that, since we do a lot of work down around Laguna Beach and Dana Point in
Okay.
Southern. Were you down around in that area?
Laguna Beach was probably the childhood beach I went to growing up. Yeah.
Okay, so all of our Laguna Beach guys immediately love you
Yeah.
right at this particular
Right.
moment.
No, yeah. Baja Sharkies were clients of ours. If you've heard of Baja Sharkies, a lot of
Yeah,
yeah, they're a really good restaurant chain that's been going up and down the coast.
that's amazing. So I'm glad that we talked today and found out you're also a fellow Laguna Beacher guy and a St. George guy. This is all
Yeah.
falling into place. It's
Yeah.
too good. It's too good. So I know you work in the food industry. Is that how you kind of picked up the Sharky's restaurant as one of your clients with
No, they were actually clients before I actually onboarded. I across the last 3 years, I've been able to support all different types of businesses throughout the U.S. through my company, through my personal portfolio. But yeah, Baja Sharkies was one of the clients. We also had like Wild Rivers and Irvine at one point. It all
yeah.
just depends on the relationships that my company's built for the last 20 years, and what I've been doing for the last 3 years, both in California and in Utah.
Cool. Well, tell me a little bit more about Buzz Financial. You gave us kind of a broad brush
hmm
overview of the services that you guys offer. I know you're doing a lot of credit card payment solutions and
hmm
things like that, but dive a little bit deeper into that for us.
Yeah, outside of the credit payment solutions, most business owners are trying to optimize their business, right? From the second that they wake up, they want to have appointments, leads, sales, like right at the cusp of being finished, right? And with that, you need to be able to hone in on what your business process looks like, right? So with restaurants, for example, they're open from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. They have online orders, they've got integrations, they've got inventory. And point of sales have to encompass all of that in order for a business owner, a leading entrepreneur, a franchise owner to be able to not have to worry about extra steps, right? With service companies, you're having invoices, you're having your entire office staff. So what we do as a whole is we want to give you the all-encompassed one piece platform that you guys can run your entire business with. So for an example, a recent bar and establishment was bought here in town, just recently, and from there, they needed to change the name, change the point of sale, change their vendors. They needed to go through an entire change, and with that process, we were here to minimize if necessary. Um, in payment processing, competitors like Stripe and Square and Toast, like and Clover, they're always going to be there. They're always going to be present. The main issue is how much business owners are paying every single day for their processing fees. So we kind of do one step more in depth with the systems that they're using, the applications that they're running. That way, everything comes together as a cohesive organism on like a representation model type platform.
Okay. So you guys are offering more of an all-inclusive, more of a complete package than some of the standard other payment solution companies that I've seen around.
That's
Um,
correct. Yeah, it's all a race. Everybody's racing to get to, to
yeah.
to the front of the line.
Yeah, I think to me that's one of your unique selling points, gives you a
Yeah.
little bit of the edge over the competition.
Hmm.
The other thing that I find fascinating, I'm going to jump right into this now, is the Hive Business Network, which I know is doing wonders for your business because I always like to ask my guests, so what are you doing to market your company to set yourselves apart from the competition, to give yourself a unique selling point? And in my mind, please correct me if I'm wrong, but Wes, your Hive Business Network, I think that's one of the things that gives you a competitive edge in the market. Am I on the right track there?
Yeah, I mean with the Hive network, what the entire brand has been about was information's free. So when you're connecting with others, you're inviting them to a network that they usually ask. If I bring it up, I'm like, hey, you should come to my Hive network. It's not like the paid networks you're usually a part of. It's free. It's no strings attached. There's no commitment. And people are a little bit, taken aback by that for sure. And with that, myself or any of the other 99 members in the network have all brought referrals. They've all, say, hey, so and so with your plumbing company, you should come and connect with the Hive network, take some time, see if there's anybody that you can bond with, that you can do a one-on-one focus with. And that's what most networks are usually missing, right? You go into a network and then people want to present, take 15 minutes of the entire hour you devoted out of your lunch hour or maybe out of your work day to listen to somebody that you may or may not be able to pair with. So that was the one disconnect that I had with most networks. But the other piece is everybody wants to thrive and connect as much as possible because that's the ultimate goal. I know that for me, I've had so much success in relationships with people because they see the passion that I have for saying, hey, like I could care less about Buzz getting a sale out of this. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I think that's a great attitude, and it shows through in your presentation when you're introducing
Hmm.
the Hive Business Network and bringing the whole thing to life. So it's not just always about the money. It's like it's about service, and if I can provide you a service that benefits you, even if it doesn't benefit me right away, materially or financially, I think that's a great benefit. I'm a big supporter of business networking. I've been a member of one of the
Hmm.
more prominent business international business networks for like 15 years, and in a variety of areas like down in San Clemente and Laguna Niguel, and
Hmm.
also here in St. George. So, and I've always been a big believer in business networking. But I found with some of them in particular, they're almost a little too structured. And I think sometimes people only go because, well, I paid a lot of money to be here, so I should
Exactly.
probably show up and do this because if I miss 3 times, they'll kick me out. And it's like, well, wait a minute here. And it gets to be a little cumbersome sometimes.
Yeah, networks here in Utah. The one that we're probably most likely addressing is it's around $1,500.
Yeah.
There's attendance requirements. There's only so many substitutions. You can only have one, you only yourself represent that spot.
Yeah,
And there are reasons that make sense, but when you're a business owner and you have a family and you have kids and you have other obligations and you're being pulled into something that you spent money for and that you're not necessarily going to be able to connect with others, I've seen more than enough times that people are connecting outside of the time they set aside
right.
because they didn't really earn anything in that first member. Like there are networks where you're listening to somebody present because and like their business model may apply to you. Like the energy and the synergy is still there, but giving people the freedom is what the Hive network is all about. Aside from one person standing up and saying how it usually is, we're open to all ideas, we're open to all interpretations, we're open to different days. Like it's not just up to one person leading the charge in this network.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I know. So, and it's quite frankly one of the great things that I really like about it is that it's not really it's not cookie cutter like some of the other ones that are a little more structured. And if you're late, you get dinged. If you miss too many times,
Hmm.
you're out. I do like a lot of the exclusivity in some
Hmm.
of them, but I found some of the rules to be a bit more cumbersome. Like I was looking at joining one networking group, and they wanted me to use a specific app that I just deplore because, in my humble opinion,
Yeah.
it's very easy to hack. And I used it once before, and I got a lot of spam and a lot of hacking, and they're
Hmm.
giving me excuses like, "Oh, well, they fixed it." I don't force me to use a specific app that I
Right.
don't trust.
Yeah.
And
There's a
so,
lot of that going around with people in the high risk industry for processing. They like to use WhatsApp.
yeah,
You have people who want to use Heartbeat. You have people who want to use Telegram. And with that, like the communication should be free flowing. Like I ended a meeting and we were wrapping up this last Monday, and because of one connection that spurred between four people, now we have meetings with two different Chamber of Commerce presidents this week. So I really think it's based on intention. I think
yeah,
it's really based on the drive and the coachability that you have and like the energy you bring, because we have people in the network, as you know, who are just so energetic, who are, you yourself do comedy shows, you lift the tension, which is it's always funny.
yeah,
And sometimes we have members who don't join the directory or don't join the program, and then they're showing up once every couple of weeks. Like some people have shown up from other networks, and we're just like, we are so focused on the goal of expanding with simplicity, we're not even entertained by the possible, conflict.
yeah. There was one of the things I like. One of the other things I like about the Hive network is the fact that they model themselves off another business networking group that I was a member of when I was down in Orange County, and they were focused on a more professional approach and a little more professional businesses. And their train of thought was, hey, listen, we're all big boys and girls here. We're all business owners. We know what we're supposed to do. We do it because we're internally motivated, not because we're externally motivated by somebody saying, if you don't come, you're out of the group, and if you don't pay this money, and if you don't do these things, then it's not going to work. It's like we all know what we're supposed to do. We all have a common goal, and we're all there to grow our business and also to network and see what we can do to help other people grow their business. Because the truth of the matter is, when we do that, it kind of all comes back to us.
Yeah,
And we all grow together and everybody becomes stronger in
correct.
their own respective ways. And
Yeah,
I enjoy that about you guys.
yeah.
When the first meeting, when I went there, I was shocked. It was like, okay, let's introduce the new people, take a minute or so, and we do that. Everybody was very respectful of the time. Nobody droned on and on and on about, themselves and their business.
Hmm.
They knew they were there to do a specific job. You gave us some time, and that was great.
Hmm.
And after that, it was like there was no like presentation with some of
Yeah,
these other groups. Two people get up and they go on for anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes about their
correct.
business, which
Which,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's kind of cool,
Yeah,
but
exactly. You're gonna know within the first 60 seconds of whether or not you're going to have alignment with somebody else. Like it's if you're doing real estate, you're going to be working with people who fix houses. If you're going to be
Yeah,
if you've got a restaurant, you're going to be working with people who can either fix your building or, fix your point of sale. So, there are also networks out here in St. George that cost way more than the average paid network, and they're trying to
yeah.
aim for high-end business owners, right? And the thing about this day and age, in my opinion, is high-end business owners are nowhere near their business they built. They're either at home or they're vacationing. So that business model to me is just like you want like if you come across them, it's great. Like I own this multi-million-dollar company, because the entire pitch that they have is basically like vacations and trips for super successful business owners. And my first thought was, won't these business owners just go on their vacations regardless? Like why, with their wife or their families and such.
Yeah,
But the Hive network it's meant for, it's meant for anybody. It could be for McDonald's, it could be for Chick-fil-A, it could be for the small startups, it could be for the middle management businesses, it could be for service companies. There's no restriction because the information isn't about trying to control whether or not Michael, you do success, do success. You're going to be able to guide that for yourself, depending on how much you want to connect with other people.
yeah, I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And what one of the things I loved, and I was taken aback at first when you said, "Okay, we've got about 30 minutes left. You guys go out there and start networking." It was kind of like turning us loose in the field and
Exactly. Yeah. That
jumping
was Tony's
around.
idea. Yeah. Tony, yeah. Tony was the one who was saying, like, you guys are probably using your lunch hour to be here. If you want to take that person to lunch, like, go, like, let them free. The food's probably better at a restaurant than it would be brought from whatever catering place we use. But yeah, I mean, just let people connect when they want, how they want. If you put restrictions on how you guys can connect, you're going to end up building resentment.
Yeah, no, I thought that was great. I was so excited about that. I mean, I immediately scoped out a couple of people I wanted to talk to. I did. I scheduled
Hmm.
some appointments. Everybody was very cool, and we start to build a bond after a while. And there was
Hmm.
myself and another guy. I think it was it Brett. Brett, Brett likes to start his presentation with a joke.
Yeah.
So do
West
I.
Desert Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we kind of tag team with a little Mike and Wes comedy introduction just to kind of alleviate the tension and get the ball rolling.
Exactly.
People
Yeah.
seem to like that. Nobody scolded us. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not very professional. No, it was great and everybody seemed to have a good time. The other thing that I notice is that I recognize a lot of people in the group and a lot of them from some of the paid networking groups I was in.
Hmm.
They're all coming over and they're all in some other networking groups I didn't even know existed. So
Yeah.
I was able to network with other networking groups that
Exactly.
I didn't know how to network.
Yeah,
And
I mean you have Utah Connect, you've got BNI, you've got Allies. Um, those are the main three, and usually
yeah,
BNI has multiple chapters. It's people use this as a secondary source. Some people love to connect with us. We kind of built it on the basis that everything is free. Like information's free. If you're able to get a sale or any sort of collaboration with other people out of it, like then that's all we need. We don't the Hive network doesn't take a piece of it. There's no strings attached with it. We also do something a little bit different. We have multiple similar verticals we have multiple advertisers. We've got multiple realtors. We got multiple service companies. Everybody does the same thing sometimes. And our motto is like we're all grown-ups. If someone's able to get a sale because they're ultimately doing their job that much better for a customer,
yeah.
then it all chalks up to how you run your business.
Yeah, I really like that. The exclusivity does it has its merits, but
Hmm.
quite frankly, what I find in some of these other pay to play networking groups is that if there's only one guy in the group in one
Hmm.
specific category, if you don't get along with that person, you're not going you're not going to give them any
Yeah.
referrals, and
Yeah,
you're not going to get any referrals. In fact, you'd
exactly.
probably go to somebody else and say, listen, this guy over here is kind of a,
Yeah.
not somebody I'm going to refer. So,
Yeah, synergy and relationships are important. If I wasn't able to connect with one advertiser, then I came to you, Michael, and I'm like, hey, like the connection's there, the synergy's there. Like I want to work with you. Let's find some referrals for you.
yeah,
That's ultimately the goal. The one thing that I don't understand about paid networks is you have your 8 to 5, you have the business that you're running if you're not with a company or a corporation, and then you come into an hour, 2 hour networking, meeting, and the network's basically asking you to take time out of your 8 to 5 schedule that you set for work, bring in other referrals and connections for you so that the other 24 people in the chapter or in the group will do the same thing. And for me, like, I already have my connections made. I'm building them every single day. So like I'm never going to go out and pull connections for you unless I come across them. That's how anybody's going to work. So
right,
I came across, I was at the gym yesterday and I met a guy who works for a window installation company. And for some reason, God and his blessings, the guy who runs one of the leading window washing companies walked by and I'm like, "Hey, so and so, this is the friend I just made. They're obviously working together in the future because he's washing windows and he's installing them. It doesn't bring me anything. But at
right.
that amount of synergy that I can create, I ultimately believe it's going to turn back to me somewhere in the future.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You don't know when or where or
Yeah.
how, but I think it's the law of reciprocity.
Yeah.
It's you do good things, it's just going to come back to you. Call it
Yeah.
karma, call it
Right.
blessings, call it
There's
whatever you
there's
want.
so many companies that need marketing, that need advertising, that need growth,
Yeah,
and business owners seem to like to do the fun parts, like building a website, building a logo. But when it comes to bringing in clients and marketing and advertising, or even just having your entire billing process ready,
right.
is a huge ask. Like if you want to bill me right here and there, it should be like click a button, make a profile, send it out. I pay for it, and then you start your A to Z process rather
Right.
than putting all the pieces together as the traction comes.
And that kind of hits on the theme of why I named our show, "How do we make it easy for people to give you money?" And
Exactly.
that's one of the things
Yeah.
I find that so often I have business owners tell me
Hmm.
that they're having difficulty making sales, and
Yeah.
I look at their business model and their advertising plan if they've actually put one together, and they're making it very difficult for people to do that. It's like
Right.
you just need to do these things, lead them down the road because the ultimate goal is to
Yeah.
make a sale. You got to make it easy for them to give you money.
Yeah. If
Uh,
you don't have confidence in your own process, then they're not going to have confidence. And that's the first thing that I realized. Like there are so many systems out there that because like people, what I do, people do this on a 1099 type basis. They've been doing it for the last 40 years since credit
yeah,
cards, were booming, right? And for people to go out and sell this now, as technology is growing and it's improving and it's ultimately scooping up all of the businesses that people are trying to bring in for deals, it gets more and more tough. So this industry is so saturated, and when people are building their business, I can give them a little handheld that they can take payments on. I can give them a gateway, but you find more success in the relationships, in the referrals.
right,
Eric from the Dram Society, great businessman, great person, great energy. We met. I sent him connections for all the bars and restaurants in town that I have. We sat down at one. He connected with the other. There's a speakeasy here in St. George that I connected him with, and that's ultimately just for him. Like
right.
and that's where I can sit back and say, I helped this guy as much as I could based on my current connections, not rather than, hey, let me get you as a client and then I'll go ahead and help you out. Like those kind of business dealings just don't work anymore.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. So we've got a few minutes left here. I do need to
Hmm.
ask you a question,
Of
and I hope
course.
it's not proprietary, but how did you start the network? I mean, what things did you have to do in order to bring this great idea to fruition? Since I don't see any templates around anywhere. Do-
No, the four people that started this, um, we kind of just sat down, and then the next week we told each other that we were going to bring one person, and we're going to bring one person every week. And they're going to bring one person. So ultimately, if everybody's bringing one person, we should have hit 100 people, at 2 months, right? But
Right.
The idea, and this is how we ended the last meeting, was everybody bring everybody you know that runs a business because it doesn't cost you anything. The parking is free, and then from there, people can connect and feel like they're actually supported in a city that they live in. With Washington and Hurricane, Santa Clarita, Bloomington, even the lower section of southern Utah. Come and connect with us, and we want to find a home for you. If you're not benefiting from it, either we're doing something wrong or maybe you were a little bit misinformed. We want to connect with people as much as possible because there's help in every single way, especially with how much growth there is in St. George.
Yeah. So I know some of the things that you had to do, and I don't know in what order, but you've got this idea. And now, in order to bring it into reality, you have to first like find a place to have the meeting. And I know that you guys have done
Hmm.
that. What are some of the steps that you went through? Like you find a place, come up with a name.
Yeah.
What did you do? What are
I
some of the
mean,
steps?
for the Buzz Financial Office, we like the name the Hive. We made it the Hive Network.
Yeah.
We had free conference rooms in our office plaza that were able to be used. A small one and a really big one, which we've been using now.
Yeah.
We kind of took the time space for Mondays as it's been running,
Yeah.
and from there we kind of just built a template where people could check in, build referrals, send referrals, join the directory. If I wanted to look you up specifically, I'm looking on the directory and I can find you, reach
Right.
out to you. And then what we're building out right now is the platform where people can actually log in, create referrals, send it. You know, Michael, you work a referral for me for Mayhem Inc. apparel. It goes well. You build a sale for them. They're happy. You're happy. You let our team know, and then we're able to complete that sale, and we're able to take those points, those Hive points, those honey points, to be redeemable for merchandise or
Wow.
uh, you know, items of some sort.
I think it's a great idea and business
Hmm.
model you guys have put together. And I hope some folks listening in other parts of the state and all around the country, if you have an idea looking for a unique way to help market your business by helping other people to market and promote their business,
Hmm.
I would seriously consider putting together some type of your own business networking opportunity because I
Yeah.
just think it's absolutely incredible. Before we go, Wes, if somebody has questions about Buzz Financial in particular or the Hive Network, how can they get a hold of you? What's your phone number and your website address and email?
Yeah, so the site is www.buzz.financial.
Okay.
It's got a yellow background. I'm on the Meet the Team page. We're based in St. George on Utah Tech campus. My phone number is 949. I'm a 949 area code, 525-5168. And the last thing is we are looking to grow Hive networks around the US and every state.
Oh, that's great. So I hope people will reach out to you if they have questions. In
All
the
right.
meantime, I want to thank everybody for listening today. My name is Michael Mollenhauer with 101 Network. We want to give a big thanks to my guest today, Mr. Wes Doyle. I'll see you guys again next time with
Thank you so
another
much, Michael.
episode of Make It Easy for People to Give You Money. You guys take care.
Thank you so much.